The functional unit of the kidney is the nephron, a very small filtration unit that is going to be located within the different component pieces of the kidney. The majority of the filtration itself is going to occur out within the renal cortex, the more superficially or peripherally located portion of the kidney. However, the drainage pathway is going to be contained within the medullary tissue, or the renal medulla. The filtration itself will be collected within the calyces of the kidney, with one minor calyx collecting all of the filtrate from a renal pyramid. What I'd like to do at this time is just go through the anatomy related to the nephron. I'm not going to get too in-depth with any of the physiology at this point because that's a course in its own. For now, let's begin looking at the functional makeup of the nephron, beginning with the glomerulus. Now recall that there are millions of these. They're really small, they're tiny, and they're going to be scattered all throughout the periphery of the cortex. And the glomerulus is going to be a capillary network where the actual filtration of blood is going to occur. What we'll see is there's going to be two vessels coming in and out of this network of capillaries. One is going to bring blood in, and one is going to bring blood back out. So we would call these the afferent and efferent branches. The afferent will bring blood into the glomerulus, it will be filtered, and then the efferent branch takes it back out. The glomerulus itself is going to be located within a capsule known as Bowman's capsule. Now, Bowman's capsule is essentially going to be where this filtrate is going to go. So it's a bag, essentially, that is going to take that filtered contents from the blood and send it through the rest of the nephron, beginning with the proximal convoluted tubule. So now we get into a tube of systems that is going to take that filtrate, and it is now going to have different levels of absorption to pull out specific ions or water along the rest of this path. So the Bowman's capsule surrounding the glomerulus and the proximal convoluted tubule are going to be located within the cortex of the kidney. As we continue along the path of where that filtrate is going to travel, it's going to come down into the medullary tissue in a structure known as the loop of Henle. The loop of Henle is going to consist of two different portions, a descending limb and an ascending limb. As its name would imply, the descending limb is going to be the portion diving down into the tissue, while the ascending limb is coming back up out of that tissue. Both the descending and the ascending limbs are going to have two different components, a thick and a thin portion. So the descending limb is going to have a thicker portion, followed by a thin portion, and then the ascending limb will continue as a thin portion that then becomes a thick portion. And again, there are going to be different functional capacities to each of these components. Following the loop of Henle, we're then going to have a distal convoluted tubule, which again is going to be the twisted portion back up within the cortical tissue, or sometimes still down within the medullary tissue, depending on how deep that nephron is. This is going to basically finish our pathway of the different filtrates, as it funnels from the distal convoluted tubule down to the collecting duct. Now, each collecting duct is going to drain towards a renal papilla, which is then going to again drain into the minor calyces to follow out through the drainage pathway from within the kidney towards a ureter.